In this video, we're going to have a quick look at the most popular questions from recent years from Unit 1, Chapter 2, the consumer, in terms of conflict resolution. In 2021, the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, the CCPC, was asked in 2016 and 2012 under the NCA. So if you're flying back through papers and you notice the NCA, just think of that as the CCPC. In this question, they've asked us to provide an evaluation. They've asked us to evaluate the role. So, ensure we have our evaluation for that little 2 marks. And because we're only looking for 3 explanations on the 20 marks, we need to make sure our answers are nice and detailed. So if you look at informs the consumer at the top of the scheme there, they explain that the CCPC provides the consumer with information about their rights in relation to purchasing goods, services, and they also mention financial services. And again, they mentioned their website, their social media, their radio and TV ads, their subscription newsletter. So lots of detail there. We need that detail to get our full marks on this question. From 2020, the Sale of Goods, Supply Services Act came up. Sale of Goods, Supply Services Act 1980. A very similar one came up in 2014. They're looking for you to explain 3 out of the 4 terms linked to the Act and with services, guarantees, the signs limiting consumer rights and merchantable quality. Be very careful here. With services, they're looking for due care and diligence. Really important to have that in. And also be very careful if you're answering on merchantable quality here. So perhaps if you prepared merchantable quality, you have prepared it as a 5 marker, which comes up a little bit more often as. But for this case, they're looking for more from you to give you a little bit more marks. So you're going to need a little bit more detail in your explanation. So just keep an eye on that one. In 2017, they asked us about the Sale of Goods, Supply Service Act 1980 in a more standard way, but the way they asked the question was a little bit sneaky. So this was the time those Samsung Galaxy phones seemed to be going on fire. Outline 3 provisions of the Act regarding a consumer's legal rights in relation to the Samsung Galaxy Note 7. So again, they really wanted merchantable quality here because, you know, if a phone is going on fire, it's not going to be merchantable quality, and they made sure that point was compulsory. They wanted reasonable standard as their key term, taking into account what they're supposed to do, their durability and their price. And I think this was a very high price phone, so obviously you would expect it to last you. All of the other sections are quite standard. Just be careful on redress. Some students have answered in the past that you're entitled to whatever redress you want. Just keep an eye here. They looked for the form of redress is dependent on how serious the fault is, the time it occurred, and how soon after the purchase the complaint was made. So just be quite clear with that. For the examiner, they did look for it. And the last one, the small claims court. Again, the evaluation question. Evaluate the small claims court for resolving conflict. Quite a doable question. They wanted 4 points at 3 marks each, giving you 12 marks. And then depending on the quality of the evaluation, would make up the rest of your marks. So inexpensive, €25. Limited compensation. You can only use small claim courts for your claim $2,000 or less. No solicitor. Only certain types of cases. So again, you're explaining different parts of small claims court. The evaluation here is that you can make cross-border claims up to 5,000 against other EU countries. The evaluation on that. This cutoff is very low and should be raised from its current level. So you're evaluating that the cutoff isn't high enough. You're saying that, yeah, they should actually raise it up, and you should get your full marks then. Now, one other question that you could be asked here is on the Consumer Protection Act 2007. Now, this question has not actually come up very much at all. It was used in 2017 in the ABQ and in 2013 in a sort of a government regulation question, which wouldn't be from this unit. I've looked back on 13 or 14 papers and I can't seem to find it anywhere. So you have a decision to make. You can decide, well, they never asked this. Maybe I don't need to study it. Or you could say they haven't asked this in how many years. Maybe there's a good chance it's going to come up. A decision for yourself to make. So just keep an eye on it.